Since the takeover, Newcastle United have been under scrutiny, it's fair to say, constantly, whether it's the spending or whether it's Saudi state-owned, human rights, etc., etc. And this hasn't gone away. I don't think it's going to go away ever, to be quite honest, as long as we are owned by PIF. But Amnesty International have really kicked off this morning and are demanding answers. We'll come on to that in a moment. Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed that Newcastle United look as though they are going to be recruiting a new head of scouting at St James's Park. Chris Waugh believes that there is a possibility that goalkeeper Loris Karius will stay at Newcastle. And Amanda Staveley has been talking amid questions of PIF selling Newcastle for a bigger club, which is bull rot. So let's get into all this, guys. This is the Daily News. Hi everybody, I'm Paul back again, and we'll get straight into this Amnesty International thing because this has pretty much taken over all the media this morning. Loads of quotes from various places, and it's all come about due to the legal battle between PGA Tour and Live Golf. Of course, the Live Golf is all about the Saudis and taking players from the PGA, and it all blew up. Now, Amnesty International have been obviously very much involved in this case because of human rights, etc. Now, what has happened is there's documents arisen in this court case that have actually named our chairman, Al Ramayan, as a sitting member of the Saudi government. Now, this is interesting because, of course, if you can remember back to the takeover, it was all said that, you know, the state had nothing at all to do with Newcastle United. And this was PIF and PIF venture alone into giving Newcastle United the takeover, etc. Now, the fact that he's named on a Saudi government document is very interesting. Now, I'm not saying I know anything about politics, and quite frankly, I would love to keep politics out of football. But since this news has arisen this morning, there's a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and especially Amnesty International. Now, Newcastle nor the Premier League have commented on this. They've both been approached, but there's been no comment from either of the parties at the moment. And Amnesty International have also stressed the point that the human rights in Saudi Arabia have indeed deteriorated since Newcastle United were taken over. Now, again, for me, as a Newcastle United fan, I want to keep politics well away from the football club. Whatever's going on in Saudi Arabia, that's a political side of things. That has nothing to do with football. Now, do I think human rights are perfect in Saudi Arabia? Of course not. No way. And do I agree with some of the things that go on in Saudi Arabia? Absolutely not. However, that's not me, and that's not other people's area of expertise to comment on. You know, this is for politicians to work out. You know, I think in the long term, the takeover of Newcastle United can only have good benefits on what goes on in Saudi Arabia, because hopefully they would learn a few things from what goes on over here. You know, they're perfectly happy to plough money into the women's team, etc. We've got a woman leading the charge, so to speak, over here in Amanda Staveley. So, you know, there's a lot of people going to try and put petrol on this fire and keep it burning because they want it to be all about Newcastle United sports washing, because that was mentioned as well by Amnesty International. But this document, I mean, I don't know what to make of it, guys. I mean, you know, this could turn around and say that, yes, you know, obviously Al Ramayan is named. He's actually named as a sitting part of the Saudi government, which means there is a connection there. Now, how they deal with this, I don't know. Whether the Premier League will actually go back again and have another look at this takeover, I don't know what they can do, guys, to be honest. I mean, what could they turn around and say? That all this money's being transferred and money spent, yet they can null and void the takeover? I don't think so. That can't happen. So I think all it takes, again, is someone from the Premier League, to meet up with someone from, obviously, PIF, and get this ironed out. Whatever this document is that has arisen in this golf case, just sort it out, because again, it just looks bad on Newcastle United, and we don't need that kind of bad press going on again. We've had it all when the takeover first started, the demonstrations and things like that. And look, as far as I'm concerned, we know things aren't right in Saudi, but they can be put right, and they can learn things from us, as we can learn from them as well. This is what I said at the start of the takeover. There's two countries who are very, very different culturally, could learn from each other. Or there's a possibility there of learning from each other. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could. And everybody seems to sort of focus on the downside of things rather than the positive side of things that can happen. Yes, I'm disappointed to hear that the human rights seem to have deteriorated, but I can't comment on that because I'm not, I'm not there. I'm not seeing it. I'm not hearing it, so I can't comment on that. What I want to comment on is the football club, and this document has obviously raised questions, which I believe that whoever owns Newcastle United will sort that out rather quickly. Is it worrying? A little bit. What is going on behind the scenes? Or what were the Premier League told? And why has our chairman suddenly appeared on the document saying that he's a sitting member of the Saudi government? Questions need to be answered, I guess, guys. Questions need to be answered. Anyway, moving on. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Newcastle United are 100% going to recruit a new head of scouting in the summer. Now, that guy is currently chief scout at the youth level at the Etihad Stadium. His name is Paul McLaren, and he's been very much headhunted by a lot of clubs. And for Newcastle to get this guy would be brilliant. I mean, this guy is an absolute magnificent. I mean, look what he's done for Man City. The youth that they bring through the doors is just tremendous. So for us to go and pinch him off Manchester City is a really, really good appointment. It's the second behind-the-scenes shuffle, of course, with the news that two new directors have been appointed at Newcastle United. So it's constantly changing, guys. They're constantly working on things to bring new people in. And, Paul McLaren is looking like the next one through the door. Now, Chris Waugh believes that goalkeeper Loris Karius will stay at Newcastle United beyond the summer. He is under the impression that it's Dubravka that will leave because Dubravka really wants first-team football. He's not going to want to sit on the bench and be number two, and certainly not at the stage in his career. Now, of course, Carl Darlow, we mentioned him yesterday in the Daily News. Will he stay? Will he go? He then turned around and said it was up to the powers that be whether he's at the club next season or not. I would think not. I don't see how Carl Darlow is part of the plans. Newcastle were happy for him to go to Hull City this season. And of course, it clears off more wages if we get rid of Dubravka and Darlow. Dubravka, for me, has lost quite a bit of respect with the Newcastle fans with the Man United situation. When he came on for Nick Pope against Liverpool, he didn't really get the most rapturous of applause, did he? It was very, very muted. So I don't think Dubravka will want to stay at Newcastle. I think he'll want to go somewhere where he can get more first-team football. But Karius' girlfriend is a TV presenter in Italy. So Inter Milan, of course, as I mentioned yesterday, are one of the sides that's interested in him. Whether that comes to fruition or not, I don't know. But if Newcastle offer him a deal, Chris Waugh believes that he will stay. Now, finally, Amanda Staveley has been answering questions regarding PIF amid all this scrutiny about the takeover and the documents and things like that and who owns Newcastle United. But it was put to her that PIF might sell Newcastle United if it meant being able to buy a Liverpool or a Manchester United. Now, Amanda quickly put this to bed and simply answered no. They wouldn't do that. They invested in Newcastle United for a reason. They believe in Newcastle United and they believe in what Newcastle United will do in the future years, given the backing that they have. Now, Amanda also came out after the cup final, of course, and declared that we're going to win everything. And, it's a long time since we've had an owner who comes out and says, yeah, Newcastle United are going to win everything. We're really going to, this was the first of many journeys to Wembley, etc. And things are going to be very, very exciting for the fans in the future. So, I think people need to stop worrying about that. The thing is, though, although PIF invested in Newcastle, it doesn't stop somebody else from Saudi Arabia, of course, buying another club. Now, obviously, that would be very interesting for me, because if another party from Saudi came in, they would be scrutinised. Are they a Saudi state? Are they part of PIF? Or, all the links. It would be mental. Absolutely mental. And, of course, the Qatar buyout of Manchester United, that's still floating around in the air as well. Amnesty mentioned that briefly, but certainly not in the same context that they went to town on Newcastle this morning. So anyway, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But put your mind at rest about PIF selling up, because it's not going to happen, guys. It's just absolute pie in the sky. But there you go. That is the daily news. Very, very interesting news this morning. Let me know what you think, as usual, in the comments below. Remember, I do read them all, and I do answer as many as I can. It is going to be very interesting to see what happens with this in the next few days and weeks ahead, especially if there's any more documents to come out of this golf trial that's going on in the States. But let me know what you think. Does it put any questions of doubt in your head about what was initially agreed between PIF and the Premier League? I'm very interested to know what your thoughts are on this. And of course, the new scout, and of course Amanda's PIF declaration as well. Let me know what you think of all that, guys. I'm very interested to find out. But if you have enjoyed the video, as usual, please do hit that like button for us, guys. As you can see, we are growing really well. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel, and also hit that notification bell, which will let you know when we go live, we upload, or we indeed schedule a live show. If you're watching this on the Thursday, don't forget an earlier time of 6 p.m. tonight for our Manchester City match review. The reviews are going to be at 6 o'clock on a Thursday now, moving forward. So please make sure that you know that time of starting is at 6 and not at the usual time of 8. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Take care.